I'm very happy with the way the announcement came out, because I think you saw just what Hillary wanted to do, which is to put the voters at the center of this process. You know, it's not about the candidate. It's certainly not about consultants. This is about voters making their choice. And what did you learn? If you watched yesterday, what did you hear? You heard, one, that she's running because she wants to be the champion of working families, of small business, of everyday Americans, and two, that she's out there to earn your vote. So those are the two most important messages, and I think they got across. And you're familiar with the Clinton economic record, and you know, I don't know whether the presidency was a partnership, obviously, but she was there. And it was, the middle class did well. There was a lot of economic growth, though. There was low unemployment. There was GDP growth. There was sort of an appreciation for the private sector.
That's absolutely right. There were 22 million new jobs, and we could go on.
Right.
But this
is so would you allow her to be pulled left into this populist rhetoric, almost anti-private sector, pro-redistribution? Does she need to do that to win?
Look, this is a campaign. It's about Hillary and Hillary's economic policies. And I'm going to go back and say, look what she already said. Look how she chose in her video to talk about what's at stake. What do we see? We saw two small brothers who are starting a small business. We saw a student just graduated college who's out looking for a job. We saw a mom who says, okay, now I'm going back in the workforce. This is about growing the middle class. This is about making sure there are economic opportunities, that those small businesses get the support they need. So yes, it will be a very strong economic message. This is something Hillary cares about, has worked on. You know, I remember when she was first elected senator from New York, and she'd had this listening tour and heard from people in upstate who were so concerned about their economic circumstance and how hard she worked as a senator from New York to build economic opportunity in that part of the state.
And will she be vulnerable to, you know, I'm already hearing, you know, Wall Street donations, Wall Street loves her, things like that. Will she have to run from that? And in other words, I think there's two approaches. People say trickle-down didn't work, trickle-down private sector. Well, we've had a choice for the past 6 years of trickle-down government. Which will she choose?
I'd say she would choose to be herself. She is smart enough, strong enough, and knows enough and understands enough about economic policy, both the policies of Bill Clinton's administration and the challenges that we confront today, which are different. So you cannot just go back and repeat the past. You've got to say, how is it we face the challenges that are with us now? What is it we do for small business today that is maybe different from what it was when President Clinton was in the White House, Bill Clinton? What is it we do for those young people who are just getting out of college, who are looking around for their job opportunities? That is what she's been working on. She's been spent the last several months talking to people who have good economic ideas. She's putting that plan together. You're going to see it as she goes forward, but I think she's given a very clear indication of the direction she wants to go.
But to set herself apart from her Republican opponent, do you think she'll have to stay in sort of the same arena as President Obama, or could she tack at least a little bit towards more private sector solutions, corporate tax reform, things that are pro-growth rather than redistribution? Can she do that, or is she already going to have to stay far to the left?
Well, I'm glad you mentioned some of those Republican opponents, because I've been looking at their economic policies, and as far as I can tell, they all want to go back. They want to go back to the policies of George W. Bush. And I don't think that's the direction the American people want to go. I think they want to keep going in the way we are and going, again, building the economy, strengthening the middle class. I don't think you do that by dividing people, but I do think you have to take economic policy seriously. And as you may have seen, Hillary already said, I think it was a recent tweet, for example, on Dodd-Frank, yes, we've got to keep that kind of financial regulation in place, don't weaken it. But again, what is it we do now for small business? What is it we do now to grow job opportunities?
Hey YouTube fans, I'm Landon Dowdy from CNBC. Thank you so much for checking out our channel. You can subscribe by clicking right here to check out the latest Mad Money CEO interviews, market news, financial advice, and product unboxing. Enjoy!